it takes many forms.
I think there is a good, humble way to look at that and be like, everybody can say that we all have these different talents and different things to fall back on. But I found that you are somebody, and just speaking as a friend here, I found that you are somebody that will do that all the time, to the point where it's not even a sense of necessarily being humble, but you're taking victories away from yourself. Everybody has different things that they can consider, a source of pride for themselves, or I should hope so. And if you don't feel that way, you should definitely do some soul searching and find it, because it is out there. But with how many different areas of expertise you have, Shane, I think it's okay to, like, every once in a while say it just for yourself, and it's not even an arrogant thing. It's like, you know what? Not everybody is able to do all these different things. Sure. Good for me. Because it's not like I was born being the best runner, smartest boy in comedy. Like, you work flipping hard in a lot of areas. So I would just encourage you to, acknowledge that for yourself. Everybody has the insecurities. Everybody can fall back on stuff. But you work hard to have a lot of things you're good at. Good for Shane.
Well, thanks, man.
You got it.
Thank you. Yeah, I
place where it should come from, which is like, oh, that sounds like fun. We could go grab a drink and hang out and do blah blah blah. So I don't know what that wall comes from.
I think also you mentioned you don't know what you want from a relationship. Mm-hmm. I think going in with an expectation of what you want could also be setting you up for disaster as well.
That's true.
Like, I don't know what the next person I'm going to meet is going to do to my life. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have any expectations to have kids, but who knows? Maybe I'll meet that person and I'll be like, yes, I would like to impregnate you and have a child.
He talks running around.
I can probably say that in a less creepy way, but I won't.
Yes, madam. Would you enjoy breeding with yours truly?
Let's mate. Are you fertile
Let's
at this
mix
moment?
our genes, and I'm not talking about laundry.
But
Oh, God.
So I think, you don't have to, I think going in with any sort of expectations is a bad idea. You don't know this person at all. But also, you're never going to know them if you don't just shoot your shot.
I also think you're not respecting your own boundaries and everything, because you're talking about your fears. Mm-hmm. And it's I get it, because I know how you think, and I think with regards to dating, I'm very similar in that you're like, oh God, what if she texts and I'm busy? Oh, what if I let her down in this way? What if I'm not, what if I have to flake on a date, and oh God, that's so much pressure and I'm going to mess it up. You get to live your life. You're busy, you're doing your thing, and you can keep doing your thing, and no one, especially if you're just dating someone, they don't get to dictate anything. Nope. And if they don't understand that and they don't respect that, they're not mature enough.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the big difference. We're all adults now.
Yeah.
And if this person is also an adult, then they'll understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think if you went out and you guys were like, oh, stouts and beer, and then the conversation ended there, and you're like, oh, I don't relate to this person in any other way, and I didn't have a good time.
Also, I don't drink that often. It's more of a rare treat kind of thing. And it should be like, oh, I drink 7 times a day on the hour. And it was like,
I'm drunk right now.
I was drunk when we met. I'll be drunk when I die.
Yeah. And then at that point you say, well, I think you should probably seek help, and hit me up when you've figured that out.
But I get what you're saying. I'm not good with pressure, and there's a lot of pressure that comes from within myself. It's no one else doing anything. I just build up a million different anxiety bombs in my head. Hence, should go to therapy. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm open to the idea of dating.
I wish I had a more eloquent way to say it, but you just don't know until you try.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things too, though.
How have somebody's seemingly minor words stuck with you through the years?
Oh, shit.
Ooh. So I think, I wish I could offer like cool wisdom that like an old person said to me, but no, this one comes from therapy, which is great. Something I've always had to deal with my whole life is like, I am a caretaker, I'm a fixer. I always want to like solve the issue and figure out what's up. And I'm like, how do I not everyone's wired the same way, and so something that my therapist said when I first started seeing her a couple of years ago, and it's like changed my life, is get comfortable with the discomfort, which is basically just like hold the space for someone. Like maybe someone needs a few days to be pissed, and maybe you can't fix it by saying I'm sorry 100 times. And so it's just like, okay, it's gonna feel weird for a couple days.
Yep.
It'll be better later. I'm still alive from every situation I've ever had like that. So I think there's some good words.
Nice.
I went to theater school to learn that.
Nice.
Anyone else have anything crazier? Okay.
Like, no, but it was physical discomfort. They taught us silks.
I do have one, but I don't know. That's a really good one.
That's a good one.
I have one.
So are you saying, hear me out?
Hear me out.
Okay. I'm gonna let you take this.
My little brother, we grew up in different households, but we always saw each other. And because he didn't live too far from me, and we would just spend weekends together and shit. And he is very cool, like really, really cool, like dreads, is a rapper, like that kind of cool. And so his friends, and he was younger than me, but his friends would always pick on me, and they'd always be like, "You're so proper. Oh, you talk so proper, like you're so like proper." And that has never left me, and so it has become a defining trait. That's why I'm like, in D&D, I'm like, I'm an elf, bitch. I'm like gonna stand up straight, I'm gonna walk around, I'm gonna live for years. Has never left me.
Never left you.
Never left me.
You are naturally proper sometimes.
But I think I adopted that because
Yep.
it was said to me so many times, it was prescribed to me.
Yes.
And it was how they would get me, and then I tried to use it.
But like, what a cool thing too, because usually if like someone was making fun of you, it's like, you're so proper. I think the natural thing is often to be like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna do all these ways that I'm not. But you were just like, bet, and then you've made it a cool part of your personality. Like it seems like you like it, maybe.
Oh, I have a good story, but I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it.
Oh, it's a good one.
Now we vote.
Well, now we go to vote. Who's got a better
Oh,
story?
that's how this game works?
Since I obviously asked the legacy question last time, something that I can end this with is, what do you think that you, I don't know, learned the most from your childhood or from your parents that you've taken with you into your career?
That's a great question, and I think we did talk about this last time in some capacity, but I think, you know, my dad was a very exceptional person and worked so hard all the time to make things, you know, okay for my family as best he could. But I think, you know, that level of expectation of excellence sort of carried on to me and to my sister. And, you know, there was a lot of pressure there inadvertently because he wanted good things for us. And I think as an adult, I've had to learn, and again, I'm still figuring out how to rest properly, but like when it's okay to like not be perfect at something, when it is okay to fail, when it is okay to let something go. And, you know, I don't know if my dad ever really knew how to do that. And so I think it's a good thing to learn from the strengths that he had, but also learn like where he wasn't able to let himself have a little less pressure. You know, it's important to me to be able to focus on other things. Like I'm not gonna 100% life. I'm not gonna be able to do a perfect run. It's just not gonna happen. So you got to decide what's important to you. And that goes for career too, you know. Again, I had more voiceover sessions this week than there were work days in this week, and I'm very lucky and very happy. But, you know, we're doing this on a Saturday, and like, I'm toast. I'm pretty tired. I really need to rest. And I have more sessions next week, which again, very exciting. But like, you know, maybe there will come a day where I have a bunch of things coming at me at once, and I'm like, hey, I can't do that. Because, you know, given what I've said, some of the days I had to do 2 sessions in a day or more. Can I physically do that? Maybe not. So, yeah, learning when you've done enough, I guess.
Yeah, everyone fucking believes in themselves, or everyone has some little nugget. It takes someone seeing something.
You
in
know,
you.
honestly, I don't think, like you said earlier, people believe in themselves. Like we believe in ourselves, and then we don't.
Yes.
That's the thing. I think you have to come out of. A lot of people don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
I've been at parties, and I have talked to people, and we're just talking, and it's gotten to a point where I'm like just believing real hard, and I'm talking to somebody who doesn't believe real hard, and I'm like, is this the first time anybody's had a dreaming conversation with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people don't know how to dream. Like, I feel like I forgot how to dream a little bit because I've talked to so many people that's just not dreamers and giving them all that I got in a conversation. But like, in reality, I'm like, I can't give you all of that. Like, if you don't have a little bit, I can't make you get it. I can't make you get it. All you can do is listen to this conversation. I hope it inspires you. But like, I want my dreaming back.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
reach for your dreams. Reach for your dreams. Then reach for the dreams.
Come on,
give me those dreams.
I've been coming back to my dream because you do go through phases. It's like I've believed in myself for a long time, but then enough time at the sandwich shop, you might start to doubt. I was off selling scarves for a few years, and enough time in another job.
Life advice are you sure as shit not listening to?
I'm sure as shit not listening to this advice.
Yeah, like, no thank you.
Oh, I thought you were leading into it.
No.
I was like, damn, say it.
I didn't have something.
Better version of the question, what's some of the most crappy, annoying advice that you've ever heard? Or advice that you just don't agree with?
I think the whole work harder, hustle type mentality actually doesn't produce the results that maybe for short-term bursts, but it's not sustainable. And people talk about it you just gotta go and you gotta go forever and you gotta go super hard, but it's you gotta have
harder,
balance.
not smarter.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sort of on the other end of that a little bit because I've been in this space lately where I've been my days have been really, really packed. And people who do legit care about me have been like, hey, you gotta take breaks, take time for yourself. But I don't wanna say no to cool opportunities and I kinda wanna make hay while the sun shines. So I think that kind of advice, I agree, don't hustle all the time, whatever, and that's not sustainable. But you gotta find a balance. It's more about not take breaks, take time off. It's find balance, take care of yourself. It's okay to say no to one thing.
Yeah.
And also it's okay to work really hard for an extended period of time, knowing full well that this opportunity might not come around again.
Yeah, I'd say as long as you don't plan on doing that for the rest of your life like that.
No, but I also just remember right now it's cooler stuff, but I remember back in the day, even pre-Smosh, I was broke as a joke and working my butt off and people would be like, you gotta take time for you. And I'm like, how? When? How? I have to make rent. People always have a good mindset about it, but I think there just has to be an adjustment that is I care about you, but also I understand that you have to do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of lame, bad advice in my day, and there definitely was the era of if you're not getting a job, you just need to try harder to get a job and apply, and if you don't hear from them, you walk in and that kind of doesn't really work anymore. We're in a lot more of an antisocial job market, I feel and if you're being invasive like that, it's almost like a put off of but I mean, I've been at the same job for 9 years, so how can I even look at that advice,
Yeah.
I think Angie, I've talked about this a little bit, but growing up in kind of a more conservative Christian realm, not moving in with someone until you're married.
Yeah.
I think that's insane.
Yeah.
After living with my partner now, which I've loved and has been amazing, but if it had been bad and I didn't know, or if there were things that I just couldn't get past, you want to know those things or get on the same page about things before you're that deep in, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Smart.
I feel like there's a lot of advice that older people give that kind of imply that relationships are about the length of time that you are together and not about the quality. Just push through, or me and your grandma were together for 40 years and we had lots of hard times and and it's
never happy once.
Never happy once. That's what marriage is about.
Yeah.
And I feel
we were unhappy for 39 years for those 40 years.
Yeah, and you can't even be married for one without or whatever, it's
Yeah.
it feels like it's not. The values are just so different from what I see a relationship to have value for.
No, that's so huge. I think the one advice that I've heard is marriage is hard work and relationships, they fizzle out and it's not all rainbows and happy sunshine after a while. And I don't think that that's true. I think if you are putting in the effort and being present and stuff, relationships don't fizzle and die out in terms of excitement and new experiences or fun or it doesn't I've not experienced that.
I think there's a level of playfulness that if you keep that up in a relationship, the relationship doesn't feel like it's just like a chore, which is kind of what some people make it sound like it's supposed to be. Oh, at some point it's supposed to be a chore, essentially.
Yeah, and it's not the case.
Yeah. I remember like I was in a relationship once that like on paper everything was like how it was supposed to be. It was like, oh, you know, we've both got good jobs, and like, you know, her family likes me, and everyone's really nice, and but like, there wasn't that level of playfulness to keep things going. It was just like how everything was supposed to be. Like it was very like the classic, like, well, you meet someone and you work and you're done forever, and it's like. I think our generation, I can only speak from my own experience, but I would imagine our generation knows that feeling is a little bit different when we feel that, and knows to look at other aspects of like, oh, maybe I don't have to do things this way now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is crazy because like my mom at this age, at my age, had at least 3 kids and was in a completely different place from me. And it's just crazy to think about like, everything is different in that sense. Like all advice has kind of become different.
I feel like I was taught that, I don't know where I learned it because it wasn't my parents, but at some point I picked up on the idea that the only way to be happy in life, like your main goal should be to have a relationship, just to have a relationship. Like not even about the quality of it, not about like growing on your own and learning how to be an individual. It's like you must find a partner.
Yeah.
My parents didn't teach me that, but I just thought that's the way you were supposed to be for some reason.
Yeah.
You and I were talking before this. I haven't like dated in like a while, and I'm like kind of the most okay with myself I've ever been. Just because I'm like, okay, I'm forced to be with myself. But like, even if it's not direct advice, I feel like the way things are fed to us through like programming of various things or just what we see with people in general, you kind of learn to glean your own value from another person and how they are treating you and how interested they are in you or people are in you. And so like, yeah, I think it may not be direct advice, but putting that away and being like, do I like myself? What would make me like myself more? Like, that's the most useful thing.
I also feel like in like art school, like in the arts programs, and like they always like were telling us like, wait till you're ready to like make something, and like wait and like learn a lot and watch people do it. And I feel like so much of the time, I feel like people who do crazy and groundbreaking stuff do something before they're ready. Does that make sense?
It's like you can't be afraid of failing. You can't be afraid of not doing it perfect. In fact, you have to do a bunch of iterations many times.
Yeah, and what is ready? You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Like just kind of just doing something to just get contact with the ball and be like, oh, this is what it's like. And before.
I feel like we're getting towards the end here.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I'll ask, Amanda, do you have any advice for us?
Oh,
just throwing you on the spot. Anyways,
well, I will be married almost 1 year.
Woo!
Wow.
And we've been together. We thought we were together 8 years, but we've been together 9.
Okay.
Which is hilarious. We're like, oh, fuck. Oh, it's been 9 years.
Oh, right.
Wow.
My biggest advice, I would say, is like, just say sorry. Like, just say sorry. And another thing is like really communicate your little routines. Like we have this thing now where I come home and I need to vent my day, but sometimes I don't want to put it on him. So I'll come in and be like in this weird place for like an hour, and he's like, hey, it's better if you just vent your day like right off the bat so that we can just get into the night and have a good time. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to stop being parts of myself to like make this work. Like, not saying like you're married, just like be like, here it is. But it's like, I get to, we actually get to like problem solve things that work for both of us. The biggest advice is just say sorry and like really, really communicate what you need, because it's way worse to cold shoulder. And trust me, sometimes I'm like, I want to cold shoulder you so hard right now. It's like I don't want to cry right now. I don't want to like open up right now. I want to just be angry. It feels good right now for me to be like in this angry place. But I promise it's just like so much better to just like release it, and say sorry, even if you're like, I know I was right. But it's like, just say sorry. That's my biggest advice.
Epic.
Yeah. But I love